It seems like it was only yesterday when the New York Knicks announced that they signed their point guard of the future in Jalen Brunson. And I remember so many media outlets criticizing the New York Knicks, not only for the signing, but for the amount of money they paid Jalen Brunson. And now, over a year later, everything is quiet. Nobody's talking about that. And everybody's talking about Jalen Brunson being the best player on the New York Knicks. Everybody's talking about the New York Knicks needing to build with Jalen Brunson to create a contender in the East with the New York Knicks. But not only that, I argue Jalen Brunson is giving the New York Knicks something that they haven't seen since Carmelo Anthony. And I'm not talking about the playoff appearance or the scoring. We're going to break down all of this and so much more today. Let's get started. Jalen Brunson, 1 year later. I've been a New York Knicks fan for a very long time. I remember Tony Douglas. I remember Steph Marbury. I remember Jeremy Lin. I remembered Raymond Felton both times. I remembered Elfrid Payton. And I remember who we have now in Jalen Brunson. So suffice to say, it's been a very long and tough road as a New York Knicks fan if you've been looking for point guard play. And sometimes where we saw success, we didn't see it consistently. So we were let down in the process. And that hurts a lot more when you think you have it and you don't. But let's talk about what life was like before Jalen Brunson. Because there was one point guard that I left off that list. Because before Brunson, we were sold about the hometown hero coming back in Kemba Walker. And as we can see here in an excerpt from Yahoo Sports, the 2021-2022 season was a disaster for the Knicks, falling well short of the playoffs after a surprise run the year prior. Assumed upgrades like Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier disappointed, marking close to a decade's worth of no dependability at the starting point guard position. Now, it's not all Kemba Walker's fault. I want to put that out there. A lot of it had to do with his health, his injuries, his knees, but also Tom Thibodeau. You could see starting out that Kemba Walker was not going to be a Tom Thibodeau guy because you need to be able to play a lot more defense at that position or be elite at what you do at that position for Tom Thibodeau to keep you out there. The unfortunate part was Kemba Walker was not the player he used to be. His knees weren't what they used to be either, and he wasn't given the time to develop that chemistry with the starters, and he wasn't providing a lot on defense, and on offense, he wasn't giving you enough to justify keeping him out there. So Thibs ran the course of that rotation for a while, and eventually he benched him and started Alec Burks at that position. In the process, lowering Kemba Walker's value and making New York Knicks fans, or at least wanting us to think, that Alec Burks was the answer at that position when a lot of people at the time were screaming for Immanuel Quickley to get the nod, especially if you were not going to give any minutes to Kemba Walker, the person that you signed to play that position. The rumors at the time may have indicated that Tom Thibodeau was on the hot seat. And you know what? Leon Rose probably was on the hot seat too. New York needed to make a splash. They needed to get somebody. And I think Leon Rose definitely knew that. And obviously, they did go see the Dallas and Utah game, quote unquote, tampering at the time. And they did get hit with the fine. But it was all worth it because they signed Jalen Brunson. And at the time, when they signed Jalen Brunson, they did it for a second-round pick who was slowly developed year after year. He did break out, obviously, but at the time, even with the flashes that he had in the playoffs with Dallas, they didn't see him as a top starting option. So many people called him unproven, diminutive, and only good because he was playing with Luka. And then now, a year later, nobody's talking about Luka made him better. Everybody's talking about Jalen Brunson is carving his own legacy and his own path with the New York Knicks. This guy broke out better than any other person you could imagine could break out for a New York Knick. I could never expect this. Before the season started with Brunson, and when they signed him, I loved the signing. I thought Brunson could be very good for the New York Knicks, and I thought he could have a very good year with the Knicks. But I didn't expect this. I didn't expect him to ball out this hard and break out the way he did. He was snubbed in terms of making the All-Star game. He should have been an All-Star because the numbers supported it. I'm sorry. I know everybody loves Tyrese Halliburton. Jalen Brunson should have took that spot. Jalen Brunson led the New York Knicks to the playoffs. Indiana was nothing last year. Wasn't led anywhere. And I think knowing that going into February, Jalen Brunson deserved the nod. I'm not sure why he didn't get it, but I know one thing. Every eye is going to be on him this year, and he's potentially going to get that nod, especially if he plays like this or better. And I think everybody has the faith that he will. And shout out to Yahoo Sports for writing the following about Brunson and the naysayers. According to them, everyone was proven wrong, and Rose and the Knicks were proven right quickly. From training camp, the team highlighted Brunson's leadership and culture fit. That same leadership and culture fit is having him right now be the leader, the natural leader, as Steve Kerr calls him, for Team USA. So he's not only displaying this with the Knicks, he's displaying this with Team USA. What followed after training camp was a terrific season in New York with 24 points and 6.2 assists. That's a career high, by the way, each and every night on average, with 51.9% shooting and 41.6% from three. He was only one of 9 players with those averages last season, and one of the more efficient of the bunch. And I want to say again, and this article highlights it, the numbers don't do it justice. If you watched what he did with the New York Knicks, anytime the Knicks needed a bucket, Brunson had it. He was magic, a maestro, so good with the basketball. You could see it in preseason. When he was handling the ball, he could get anywhere he wanted, anytime he wanted. He can always do that. That's why in the playoffs, he saw so many double teams. It wasn't because he could just keep scoring at will. It's because he could score from wherever he wanted to score, especially when he entered the paint. He was near unstoppable. He was shooting over 50% from that range in the regular season. In the playoffs, he went off. Did you guys know what he did in All-Star break after he came back? Yahoo Sports highlighted that. After the new year, Brunson averaged 27.8 points on even better shooting, stringing together 30 and 40-point games with ease. And he carried that over to the playoffs, where we took the first series in a decade since Carmelo Anthony years against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Brunson and RJ Barrett, Josh Hart, they were huge parts of that. But Jalen Brunson, with performance after performance after performance, scoring elite levels of 30 and 40 points, he was putting the Knicks on his back and making sure that every time Cleveland had an answer, Brunson answered right back. It made me so happy and so proud as a New York Knicks fan. I was screaming at the top of my lungs because the Knicks were not only competitive, they were good. And Brunson was a major reason why they were good. Because of what Jalen Brunson has done in the regular season, in the playoffs, what he's doing with Team USA, all eyes have been on him. And you know what else? It's not only that. Just like with Carmelo Anthony and his greatness, where you couldn't take your eyes off of it, and a lot of people wanted to see what would happen there, the same thing is going to happen with Brunson, because I argue Jalen Brunson makes the New York Knicks extremely attractive. When you see the Knicks going to playoff after playoff after playoff, which I think is going to happen, especially with Jalen Brunson at the helm, and then you see a player like Jalen Brunson breaking out, you see him leading the Knicks to the playoffs, doing what he's doing in the regular season, putting up the points he's putting up, averaging career highs in assists, only going to get better in his career, hitting his prime, basically entering his prime right now. So he's only going to get better from this point on. And if he does, and he can become that elite player that I think every New York Knicks fan believes he can be, and he can break that door down for superstardom like I believe he will, the New York Knicks are going to be attractive. And Jalen Brunson is going to be one of the major reasons why they're attractive. You can't take your eyes off of this man when he has the ball in his hands. He goes in the paint, you have to double team him. Because if you don't, it's almost automatic. His footwork in terms of guards in the league, in terms of guards in the East, I'll say. How about that? His footwork in terms of guards in the East is the best. The best. No guard right now in terms of getting in the paint with their footwork is better than Jalen Brunson. No one. Not Trae Young, not Tyrese Halliburton, not Drew Holiday. Nobody you can tell me right now is better with their footwork in the paint than Jalen Brunson. That's how elite he is. Pair that with an IQ level that it's so high, his ability to find people, to dribble, penetrate, to create for his other teammates. He is such a great player, and what a benefit the New York Knicks have because they signed him to basically pennies on the dollar when you think about his play for right now. At the time, it looked like the Knicks may have overpaid Brunson according to Yahoo Sports. But at this rate, he's underpaid. He made $27.7 million this past season, less than Jeremy Grant, Jordan Poole, Kyle Lowry, and Gordon Hayward. And his contract is declining, going down, descending to $25 million in 2024-2025. Despite the cap going up, we are getting Brunson on a steal deal right now for pennies given the way he's playing. And we have him under team control more or less for 2 years. Meaning the Knicks have to do something with Brunson and what he's doing for the Knicks and how attractive he's making the Knicks within the next 2 years. Because after that, if he continues this play, Jalen Brunson is going to get the most amount of money the Knicks can pay him. Because there's no way the Knicks are going to screw it up like Dallas did and let this man go anywhere. He is the Knicks franchise point guard moving forward. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is him. He is Jalen Brunson. He is our point guard. He is getting paid max dollars. There is no doubt about it. But here we are after a year, and nobody's talking about Jalen Brunson in a negative light. Everybody's speaking about Jalen Brunson, the leader that he is for the Knicks, the leader that he is for Team USA, how he's one of the best players on the Knicks right now, how the Knicks need to build with him. The Knicks have a small window to maximize his prime and how much money he's making, because when he asks for that max contract, he's going to get it, especially if this play continues. So the Knicks have to surround him with the talent right now so we can try to contend in the East and try to get that championship. The Knicks have the best opportunity to do it right now because Brunson makes the Knicks extremely attractive. And if he's done that after 1 year, could you imagine how good the New York Knicks are going to look around the league after year 2 of Brunson? I could only imagine. But you tell me, folks. Comment below. What do you think after 1 year of Jalen Brunson? How are the Knicks looking? How do you think the Knicks look around the league after 1 year of Brunson? Because in my opinion, the Knicks look really good. And from here on out, the Knicks are going to look better and better and better. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment below. Smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.